Vice President Oshibajo hosts House Committee on Recession. Members urges political leaders to make amends.
Senate confirms 45 ambassadorial nominees, drops 2.
We wish them all the best and hope they continue to do great service to our country.
Two disputing PDP groups signed peace accord.
On Good Morning Nigeria today, we will focus on the presidential order to stop the wanton killings in the country. Plus, Globalcom Nigeria set to thrill customers.
Well, it is a common sight in the conventional and online media to hear tales of maiming as well as wanton killing of innocent lives and the destructions of valuable property in various parts of the country.
You are indeed right, Blessing. Now, the states that have been badly hit in recent times include Kaduna, Benue, Kogi, Rivers, Ekiti, Delta, Enugu, Plateau, Nasarawa, Niger, and Osun states, and even extending further to Taraba. And of course, there were earlier reports of what was going on in Zamfara. Indeed, the 6 geopolitical zones of the country have not been spared in the gory tale of wanton killings.
Well, reports indicate that scores of people have been killed, while many others have sustained various degrees of injuries. Apart from these, property worth hundreds of millions of naira have also been destroyed.
Well, many well-meaning Nigerians, under those who are perpetrating the violence, are indeed unhappy over the ugly development, which continues to make life virtually meaningless in certain parts of the country, considering the way and manner the perpetrators have gone about their criminal activities. And
also alarmed by the latest killings in Zakibiam and Benue states, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed security agencies to begin immediate investigation with a view to bringing the perpetrators of this dastardly act to book.
According to President Muhammadu Buhari, we must condemn inhuman and unnecessary shedding of human blood all over the country. We seem to have lost value for human life, which is sacred. Man is the glory of God's creation, and nobody has the right to unjustly and unlawfully take another person's life in a reckless manner, the President said.
You're quite right, Kingsley. The value to human life seems to be at the lowest ebb, not with the kind of destruction you see people setting out to do. As if the land is constantly thirsty for blood from time to time. It's becoming so much worrisome by the day. Well, for the Apex legislative arm of government also, it has expressed concerns over the wanton killings in the country and has constituted an ad hoc committee which undertook a tour of the affected communities. So much to say about that security measures to be put in place to actually address the issues across the length and breadth of the nation. It's on that note, we welcome you to this edition of the program, Good Morning Nigeria. Today, it's the last one for the week, and we hope you'll find out all the very best, really, because that's a sad issue, really, so I wouldn't want to say interesting. Let's just find out that's how much of this talk we can actually put in place to actually address some of these pressing issues facing the nation. This program is showing live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. My name is Blessing Abu.
And I'm Kingsley Osadolo. I join Blessing also welcoming you to this edition of the program. Of course, Blessing, yesterday, one of the topics that we took a look at on Good Morning Nigeria has to do with the situation at the Northeast. And we had the theater commander of Operation Lafi Adule, join us and then indicate the various levels of activity being engaged by the military authorities to ensure containment as well as the diminution of the hit-and-run tactics being employed by Boko Haram. Now, if you were to excise the areas mostly impacted by Boko Haram and then look at other parts of the country, you will find find that Mr. President, of course, is quite right in calling attention to the fact that the country has literally become a killing field.
Exactly, it's very sad.
All right, so that's the first issue we're taking a look at. The second issue for discuss has to do with the Glow Fest, Glow Laughter Fest and Mega Music Tour. Now, what do these seek to achieve for and by Glow? Stay with us. In the course of the program, we shall also bring you our regular companion segments. We're going over straight now to the newsroom, and here is Olajide Bello with the news.
Good morning and welcome to the news. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has implored political leaders in the country to commit themselves to doing things collectively and individually so as to alter the ways things are done for good. The Vice President said this when he received members of the House Tactical Committee in recession at the State House.
We are on the same page. Some of our suggestions have been acknowledged to be the way they are thinking, and some of our suggestions have been innovative. And by the grace of God, Nigerians will feel the effect of this committee and the effort of the federal government very soon.
At the end, we want to arrive in a position where Nigerians will happy with the government, because we are all in the government, both the parliament and the executive.
The Senate has confirmed 45 non-career ambassadorial nominees, but the Ondo State nominee was dropped due to a DSS report, while the nominee from Imo State was not confirmed on ground of old age. The Senate President, Bukola Saraki, called on the nominees to be exemplary in their behavior. He reiterated the need for proper funding of Nigerian embassies.
For a lot of our non-career diplomats, that we must be good examples and good ambassadors for our country. So I think that to be advisable as they are being posted, that government can ensure that they can clear the outstandings that are due in someone's mission. We wish them all the best and hope they continue to do great service to our country.
And still from the legislature, the House of Representatives has mandated its Committee on Aviation to review the Civil Aviation Authority audit report to ascertain that ramp safety at the Kaduna Airport complied with aviation safety standards. Members also considered a motion on the need to provide relief materials and medical assistance to internally displaced persons in Kunduga, Mata and Dikwa local government areas of Borno State.
We have issues of the perimeter fencing. Mr. Speaker, we have a lot of livestock movement.
The history of cattle sauntering into an aircraft, into a runway, it has not happened, it has only happened in Port Harcourt.
The most concern is the potential possibility of the contamination of jet fuel.
Mr. Speaker, sir, this experiment is one that must obviously be reviewed.
These 15 days of operation in Kaduna Airport successfully, without any problem, without any hitches.
If we have a committee and if the issue was brought to the floor of this House, how many people were sent to go and see the readiness of that airport?
But I must confess I find Honorable Hammer's logic very tenuous, in the sense that it's tantamount to arguing that if a thief steals and escapes with it, then he shouldn't be pursued.
Away from the legislature now, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, John Odige-Oyegu, has met with the APC caucus of the House of Representatives, commending the legislators for the cordial relationship between them and the executive. Chief Odige-Oyegu, who spoke to newsmen after a closed-door session with the members, said the meeting, which deliberated on national issues, was fruitful.
The fact that the House has been very, very supportive of government, of the party, and we have cause to congratulate the Right Honorable Speaker and members for the way so far they have been behind.
The meeting lasted over 2 hours. The two disputing groups of Senator Ali Modu Sharif and those of Senator Ahmed McCarthy of the People's Democratic Party have reached a truce for peace to reign in the party. This followed a meeting of representatives of the two groups convened by Governor Siriaka Dixon. PDP National Reconciliation Committee political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Brinin reports that the meeting did not give details of the next step to take.
That all actors of the party should desist from making derogatory, inflammatory, and divisive statements against party officials, stakeholders, and members.
That the proposed National Convention Committee, when eventually set up, will have a free hand to conduct its affairs.
We welcome the templates which we have submitted, assuring our members that peace will return to PDP and that surely all our differences will be resolved.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has fixed the 4th of May to hear arguments concerning the motion for the withdrawal of the appeal by the People's Democratic Party after the judgment of the Court of Appeal delivered in Port Harcourt last month. This is one of the surprising dimensions the PDP crisis case took at the Supreme Court on Thursday. Counsel to both parties gave reasons for their withdrawals.
Alimodu Sheriff has been confirmed as the authentic chairman of PDP. If any action is to be taken, he has to sanction it.
Oh, there is an appeal. You heard me say so. Why do you say we have not been authorized if there is an appeal? We have been authorized. This is from a judgment of the Court of Appeal.
But that's the news at this hour. The program continues with Blessing and Kingsley after the break.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
This is the brand new Ndubisi Kanu Exco Chamber, where the governor meets with members of the Executive Council to deliberate on matters of the state. This magnificent chamber was completely built by the rescue mission team in 8 months. This is a rescue mission project, the new face of Imo State government. The Imo Rescue Mission. Imo must be better.
So what's up, sweetheart? You really look like you're up to something.
I have a secret.
Okay.
I'll be going to Europe next week.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like you have your visa, your passport, your plane ticket?
No, not that way. Some men are helping us. We pay them, they take us through the desert, and then we cross the sea into Europe.
The desert, the sea. Isn't that the route where many have died?
Yes, it is indeed a very dangerous journey. In 2016 alone, 4,900 people died while crossing the Mediterranean Sea to enter Europe. Many were Nigerians. For the very few who survived the journey, they are forced into prostitution or other crimes just to survive. Eventually, they will be arrested and deported to
You're watching Good Morning Nigeria. Time now for the business reports for today. The Debt Management Office has raised more than 20 billion naira 2-year bond, and also the Buhari Area Council takes a bold step towards joining federal government's stride in meeting housing demand. Let's join Leah Kachumba Batunde for details.
Nigerian Thursday raised 2.07 billion naira from a new 2-year savings bond intended for retail investors. The Debt Management Office, DMO, has said it offered the bond to help broaden the country's funding base. It will be available for purchase on a monthly basis and have a maximum subscription of 50 million naira. It carries a coupon of 13.01%. Nigeria forecasts a budget deficit of 2.36 trillion naira in 2017, half of which it aims to fund through domestic borrowing. Now, 1 in 4 people are worried about losing their home or land, according to a survey of 9 countries, with Nigerians most concerned about homes and smallholder farmers in Tanzania and Indonesia most insecure about land. The survey, conducted by U.S. polling firm Gallup and launched in Washington, D.C. at a World Bank conference this week, is the first to try to document how secure people feel about their homes and land at a global level. In total, 11,000 people were questioned about ownership or tenure in Brazil, Colombia, Egypt, Greece, India, Indonesia, Nigeria, Peru, and Tanzania. However, in Buhari Area Council, the local government union is seeking to allay these fears as it draws from the National Housing Fund to meet the housing demands of its members.
Only 25% of residents of Buhari Area Council have actually been accommodated as per housing programs. And is no other reason than linking it to the master plan of the FCT.
Now, finally, the twin gauges of the Nigerian stock market ended Thursday flat, although volumes and value declined as investors maintained a cautious posture. Next is a graphic summary. With Business News, I'm Lekatun Babatunde.
Thank you very much, Leah, there for the business package. Let's now take a quick look at the headlines in some of today's newspapers.
Bayo Atebi is already seated in the studio. Good morning, Bayo.
Good morning, Blessing. Don't remind me today is Friday.
No,
Good morning, Kingsley.
It's Friday.
Good morning, Nigeria.
All right, Kingsley, I'll start off with the first paper, which is the Daily Trust. Now, we have leading for the Daily Trust this morning. President Buhari, of course, names 27 resident electoral commissioners for Senate confirmation. You have the photograph of some of the nominees right there on the front page of the Daily Trust. But just above that, you have another story from the Senate. Senate rejects 2 ambassadorial nominees. That story you find on page 3. And just beside that, you have dollar now 385 naira at street market. For the foot of the paper, the Daily Trust, you have gunmen kill 5 herders, rustle 500 cattle in Nasarawa. You'll find the details on page 4. Sheriff McCarthy agreed to end PDP crisis. The story is trending on page 34. And Dieza needs $105 million. Court admits list of beneficiaries. Details on page 4. Kingsley?
All right, let's take a quick look now at the front page of the Blueprint. The Blueprint also has as its lead story the appointment of 27 resident electoral commissioners, as well as the rejection of, the confirmation of 45 non-career ambassadorial nominees. Details of the story can be found inside. Now, below the photograph, they have a number of headlines there. That's one that's a running story. It's been running for nearly 5 years now. Court sentences Cynthia Osukogu's killers to death by hanging. Details of the story can be found on page 9. And above that, reps want CBN to withdraw mutilated currency notes. Details of the story can be found inside the paper. And Kano resuscitates West Africa's largest textile market. And of course, you have other headlines there. Adamawa pensioners beg Bindo, pay us our entitlements. Bayo.
Yes. Well, Okumo Mwabufo and Olise Loka Ezike are to die by hanging for killing Cynthia Osogu 5 years ago in Lagos. You recall that the 25-year-old postgraduate student of Nasarawa State University, Cynthia Osokogu, was lured by her Facebook friends to Lagos. She was allegedly drugged in a hotel, raped, photographed, and eventually strangled. The judge said their attempt to steal Cynthia's property, and then they also stole her life. He added they were not even remorseful. Nigerians will recall how the Facebook friends lured her to Lagos, and this has been a warning to all young people who make friends on Facebook or any other social media platform to be very careful of the friends they make. The man who sold the drug to the two was released because there was no link to the mother. Also acquitted was the gentleman who bought the Cynthia's phone, that BlackBerry, that was also had no link to the mother. 3 other women also, it may be recalled, came and recounted that they had been arrested, abducted, drugged, and raped by those two same boys. That would put that long trial to a close now. There's good news with the Naira. The Naira is now 385 to the dollar at the parallel market in Abuja. However, in Lagos, it is oscillating between 400 and 405. The president of Association of Bureau de Change, Alhaji Aminu Gwadabe, says central bank supplies them foreign exchange and advise at 381 and advise that they sell at around 399. But already in the market, the black market is 385. They say that presently, many people who had hoarded dollars are in a dilemma what to do, because when they bring it out, the parallel market sellers are not ready to buy. There was a false alarm in Lagos, and the Commissioner of Police has clarified that an item identified as was suspicious about, found in a car parked at the American consulate, was only medical equipment. Police got the alarm at 7:40 a.m. and the suspicion was raised, and the bomb squad, along with other security agencies, went there, and they found out that it was medical equipment that was in the bag. However, the police are still pursuing to find out who the owner of the vehicle was, why it was parked there, to make sure that everybody becomes security alert.
All right.
If you see something, they say,
say something. All right, but let's take a quick look at the front page of the Punch newspaper, which is next for us now. Punch newspaper has as its lead story with a kicker, grass cutting probe, contracts awarded to 20 ghost firms. That's according to the Senate panel. Now, there are 2 riders to that. It says SGF, the Secretary of Government of the Federation, recounts and demands new date for appearance, and Senate empowered to order SGF's arrest if he fails to appear. That's attributed to Fallon now. And then just below that, the sad story that, of course, took place in Benue State a couple of several days ago. Air Force woman killed by colleague, buried in Lagos. Details of the story can be found inside. Wike and Otom lock horns over killings in Rivers and Benue. Kwankwanso's new cities are liabilities, not assets, according to Ganduje. And of course, a story that Blessing also earlier read. Yes.
Yes, for Bayo to quickly add to that, the Daily Sun is having, as its lead story, fireworks over Benue killings, as well as other story on PDP, this rejection of the ambassador nominees, and not its crisis funds, SGF, just the same way. Quickly, Bayo.
Well, I just wanted to draw attention to the human interest story. A hairdresser in Germany is winning clients to her shop. She has a 13-year-old python that he wraps around the neck of people who come for hairdressing, and the python massages their neck. And because customers are so many, she does that only 2 days in a week. She learned that from South Africa.
I hope it's just massage and the pattern is not testing how you can swallow them.
Would you like to go to that?
Not at all, not at all. Thank you very much, Bayo. It's been a very eventful week with different stories. We'll hope to see you on Monday.
See you on Monday. Thank you.
You're watching Good Morning Nigeria. Time now. We'll take a break at this point. When we return, we'll start the first part to our discussion, taking a look at the killings in Benue as well as other parts of the country.
Hear the call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. Go so let the change begin from within. Look at you, Ogerula. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with
When Kayode Kukoyi was a year old, he contracted the polio virus, which attacked his nervous system, leading to irreversible paralysis. Now a grown man, husband and father of 3, he's struggling to make ends meet as a keke napep driver.
Every day, I risk my life for my family so that they can live better. My life is worth 2,000 naira a day.
What makes a Naija mom powerful?
I encourage my kids to learn new things. And if they get hurt, I rely on the power of my Dettol's One Capful. To fight germs, it's like my own first aid kit.
My family needs protection from germs. I use the power of Dettol's One Capful to disinfect surfaces and clothes to keep them clean and safe from germs.
I trust the power of Dettol's One Capful for bathing. The power of Dettol's One Capful protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Millions of powerful Naija moms use the power of Dettol's One Capful to protect their families. Be a powerful Naija mom with Dettol. Be 100% sure.
NTA Properties Investment Company Limited, a subsidiary of the Nigerian Television Authority, specializes in creating comfort in all areas of life, such as real estate investments, that is, land, houses, and office spaces, mass leasing, savings and loan scheme, household items and car loans, and so much more. Other information and entertainment services include Property in Style, a TV program that airs on the network service of the NTA, and also Property Connect, a nationwide magazine. Our priority is to bridge poverty gaps and sustain quality welfare of our clients. Partner with us and watch us help you grow. Pay us a visit today at the NTA headquarters permanent site, Area 11 Garki, Abuja, or our Lagos office at number 15 Awolowo Road, Ikoyi, Lagos. For more information, visit our website on www.ntaproperties.com.ng, or you can email us on ntap2000@yahoo.com. Call us on 080-2316-3474 or 080-6939-5185 or 070-3189-0555. NTA Properties Investment Company Limited, the much needed help at your doorstep.
All right, you're welcome back, and it's still Good Morning Nigeria. We're live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. Now we're having our first subject matter for discussion today. The directive by the President Muhammadu Buhari to security agencies and indeed to Nigerians to bring to a stop the wanton killings in different parts of the country. Now, to set the stage for our discussion, let's take this background from our correspondent, Ahmad Ambali.
The tragedy of wanton killings in Nigeria has been a recurring decimal. In communities affected, the trail left behind is that of sorrow, pain, and blood. From Kaduna South to Ile-Ife, Nasarawa to Enugu, the story is the same. Whether provoked or not, terror is unleashed and human lives are lost. Zaki Biam in Benue State is the latest scene of a mindless and brazen attack on innocent Nigerians. Security reports as to the number of deaths have been put at 17, with some sources saying the number could be higher. Properties worth millions were also said to have been destroyed, shattering the peace and serenity of the agrarian community. One wonders what could have prompted and continues to prompt such attacks. Observers contend issues of resource allocation more often than ethnic or religious differences account for many unrest. Whatever the issues may be, the present administration insists the wanton destruction of innocent lives in the country has become a major embarrassment to the nation's image in the international community. To this end, President Muhammadu Buhari has challenged the service chiefs to promptly arrest the situation. Normalcy is gradually returning to Zaki Biam, although experts are of the opinion that trouble may soon erupt elsewhere if proactive steps are not taken to address the proliferation of light arms and weapons in many Nigerian communities. They also want security agencies to nip attacks in the bud so as to save the nation the agony of losing innocent lives. Guests on NTA Good Morning Nigeria will be tackling the issues and providing lasting solution to the incessant cases of wanton killings.
All right, well, now we're being joined by Professor Garba Hamidu Sharubutu, who is Chairman Implementation Committee on the Curtailment of Rustling and Farmers and Herdsmen Clashes. Professor Sharubutu, a pleasure to have you join us on the program.
Thank you very much, and welcome, viewers.
Okay, and then we also have with us here the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations is Habila Joshak. DIG Joshak, a pleasure to have you with us on the program.
Thank you, sir, and good morning, viewers.
Okay.
Also joining us on the program, but this time we're going over to our Makurdi studio. We'd like to welcome His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Benue State, Mr. Samuel Otom. Mr. Tom, Executive Governor of Benue State, we'd like to welcome you on the program this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Nigerians.
And also with His Excellency right there in the Makurdi studio is Bashir Makama, is the Commissioner of Police, Benue State Command. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
all right. Well, let's begin the conversation by still staying with our guests in the Makurdi Network Center, where my colleague just introduced the governor of the state. Mr. Governor Samuel Otom, the reports virtually on a daily basis coming out of Benue and some of the place names that have become virtually associated with wanton killings, Agatu lately, Zaki Biam, and several others, have left several Nigerians, including yourselves, wondering precisely what is going on. Of course, we heard what you said recently, asking that herdsmen have to leave Benue State. From your perspective as a Chief Security Officer of the state, what has happened to the security architecture of Benue?
Well, thank you very much, and good morning, Nigerians. I want to appreciate this medium to express and to give the correct perspective of what is happening here in Benue State. Now, we have this challenge in three folds. One is the issue of herdsmen and farmers clashes. We have had this thing. I inherited this problem. It has been on. And every proactive step has been taken to curtail the challenge. Unfortunately, it continued to wear its head because of the influx of herdsmen into Benue State. And like I keep saying, the land is no longer there because of the upsurge of population in the state, because 90% of the people here in Benue State are farmers. And so the land is no longer there. So each time you have influx coming in, it becomes a challenge. And instead of the reduction in the number of herdsmen that comes into the state, we have more coming in. In fact, I grew up in the state, and I used to relate with Fulani people very well, but unfortunately, this time, I have never witnessed the number of cattle that have come into Benue State in the manner that is unprecedented. Everywhere is taken over by herdsmen. People's houses are taken over. People's farms are taken over. And of course, it is natural because the farmer lives by his produce from the farm. And the herdsmen, we give them the opportunity to breed their cattle. But this time we are quite overwhelmed with the situation here in Benue State. What I have done as a proactive state with my Security Council is to set up committees at the state, local government, ward, and then kindred level. And the intention is to ensure that anyone that trespasses into somebody's farm, it should be reported to us so that we take steps that we ensure peace. But the problem is both herdsmen and farmers are not willing to take on these government directives. They prepare to sort things out themselves, but it is really overwhelming. And that is why I continue to advocate for ranching in the state so that we sort out this problem, because as of today, there is no more land in the state for herdsmen to graze. If they can go somewhere else, that will be fine. But for now, I know that the state and the federal government, we need to come together to work out the modalities, because the nomads too, it is not possible for them to overnight begin to ranch their cattle. The state and federal government must come together to find a way to help the herdsmen so that our people can live in peace. But as I talk to you today, there is no 5 hectares that is not being undertaken into farming activities in Benue State. And so it becomes a very difficult challenge. Even the route where this cattle will pass and then go somewhere to graze, it has become a big challenge. Now, the other aspect, the second one, is the issue of criminality, cattle rustling, and the restiveness of youth going to attack herdsmen, and then herdsmen killing innocent people. And most times, the unfortunate thing is that the herdsmen, when they come for a reprisal attack, they attack innocent people. The people who rustle their cattle, the people who kill their cattle or kill them, they won't be in that vicinity, but they go back to attack them. So this is a very big challenge. Now, the third one is the issue of criminality. General criminal activities by some notorious criminals. For instance, like Ghana, Tewa Sakwaza, whom we have declared wanted for the past 10 months, and the community is still shielding him. And this guy is involved in cattle wrestling, is involved in criminality, is involved in kidnappings, is involved in armed robbery, is involved in all sorts of criminal activities. And this guy was armed by certain politicians. And today, you see that he's all over the place, killing and destroying property of the state. Like what happened in Zakibam, it wasn't the issue of herdsmen and farmers' clashes. It was purely criminality coming from this notorious criminal called Ghana. He went to Zakibam because one of his associates was arrested. And that was all. So he decided to go and show his power using his team to come and kill and burn down houses and destroy property. So this is the issue. But the good thing is that the Mr. President directive is out, and he's quite supportive. The Chief of Army Staff, the Inspector General of Police, the DG SS, and the Commander General Civil Defense have been directed. And today in the state, we have enough personnel to checkmate some of these problems that are coming up. I think that with the facilities and the capacity we have now, we'll be able to contain it. And by the grace of God, Ghana will be arrested very soon.
All right, Mr. Governor, well, thank you very much. We'll come back to you, but just seated beside you there, of course, is the State Commissioner of Police, CP Bashir Makama. You listen to what the governor said, and indeed from various accounts that we get to watch on television or read in the papers, it would appear that the state command is apparently overwhelmed by what appears to be a paradise for gangsters.
The police is not overwhelmed as such, because these proactive measures that had been put in place is expected to yield results. And at those levels, because where the incidents, for instance, the herdsmen attack on farmers, where they happen, outskirts, they are far off from where you can reach easily. So it needs time. By the time we get there, the action had been done. And then the next you have to do is to pursue and then see if you can make some headway in the course of investigation. As it stands now, the Buruku area where this incident happened had actually been flooded as it is with security agents to give confidence to the citizens there. Those who have fled their homes should come back, and then the herdsmen who are grazing have been asked to shift. Of course, they know that this area is no longer safe for them because problem has erupted. So on their own, they also have found their way, and we guide them so that the next community will not be apprehensive of their action or try to have any confrontation. So that is where we are now. And then, as the executive governor has said, we are on top of the situation because of the assistance we have received, because it's the influx of this cattle that has actually, it was not like this. And also, I would want to say that what happened in Agatu years back, the magnitude has been reduced to the barest minimum, because the number of casualties, for instance, cannot be compared with what happened at that time.
All right, Mr. Bashir Makama, I'm glad you used the example of the Agatu incidents. Over time, cases of wanton killings, spate of violence around Benue or anywhere else in the country, you take the same dimension, and I'm sure you made mention of the fact that some of those places you cannot reach them. It's incongruous to actually see that security measures for a state that is that is prone to such a spate of killing will not be manned in terms of security effectively. So, giving us this narrative of the fact that these are things that have been done or cannot be reached, how much confidence do you think the people continue to repose in the security apparatus of the state? If you are overwhelmed, it's good that you... Exactly, those are the words of the governor. So how do we begin to reconcile that which you have done in terms of security and what is on ground now?
Well, I said the areas, well, farmers are not, they don't stay in areas where the roads are motorable to do their activities. So also the cattle rearer. It is, of course, far in the interior where farms are. They are not roads that you can manage or post security men to the farms, but the committees, I repeat that the committees that are set up at the state level, the local government, the kindred, up to the last, are expected to monitor. And then they will monitor and give early reports. The local government chairman is there, the local police, the DPO, the other security agencies that are there are supposed to be in touch with them. The herdsmen themselves, we have a database of them, those that live within those areas, except those strangers that come, and even the Arrows and the Fulani leaders do not know them. So the issue of the security not getting to everyone, I wouldn't say it has arisen here because, as I said, farmlands are far in, and then they will require also information has to come. It depends on the time the information is received. And as such, these things happen at night. You know, the Fulanis or the herdsmen walk all through the night. So these are some of those challenges, which of course at this time, as much as possible that it has happened, we have taken steps to stop it from happening. And ultimately, if this works, then it means it has to be replicated over time so that such will not happen again.
Okay, Commissioner of Police Bashir Makama, thanks a lot. Again, we'll return to both yourself and His Excellency, the Governor of Benue at the Makurdi Network Center. But to come back to Abuja studios, of course, we still have with us here DIG Habila Joshak. We just paused him in the meantime, and then bring in Professor Garba Sharubutu. He's chairman of the Implementation Committee on Curtailment of Rustling and Farmers and Herdsmen Clashes, as we earlier introduced him. Prof, the fact that we are still having frequent reports of the clashes between herdsmen and farmers of various communities, not just in Benue, but in different parts of the country, in Delta, in the southeast, whether Enugu, Imo, Abia, or otherwise, would tend to indicate that there is no abatement of these clashes. Is that a correct reading of the situation? And if so, what has your committee done?
Well, I think the good aspect of it there is that the Inspector General of Police saw reason to set up this Cattle Curtailment Implementation Committee, and with the responsibility to look at the clashes between farmers and herdsmen. The point here is that cattle rearing is one of the only professions in this country that has remained unregulated. Virtually every economic activity in this country is regulated, minus the issue of cattle rustling. And unless you have a mechanism to regulate cattle rearing in this country, this situation will continue. Now, why do I say that? The issue about the security apparatus, you name them. The police are located mainly within the towns. Federal Road Safety within the towns. Civil defense within the towns. The emerging Peace Corps is within the town.
Declared illegal already.
Exactly. Of course, is within the town. Whoever wants to do it. Most of the vigilante operate within the town. But the riches of the typical Fulani man is in the bush. The riches of the typical farmer is in the bush. Now, without necessary and proper information coming to the police, I can tell you that they can virtually do nothing. Now, how do they get this information? This information may not just come from traditional rulers because they are also incapacitated. It may not come from vigilante because they have taken side, either they are farmers or they are brought within. Now, there is a cadre of security agency that has been neglected in this country. And what are they? The rangers, the foresters, because these things take place in the bush. And the responsibility of rangers as specified by the scheme of service of the Federation is policing the forest, policing the rangeland. They are the proper source of information that can bring information to the police. Of course, the Honorable Commissioner has said it. The fact that these people are located within the interior, within the bushes, where they cannot reach. But the responsibility of the rangers are supposed to remain within the forest areas. The criminality are actually being incubated in the bush and then brought in to be implemented in the towns, in the villages. So I think that it is a good thing that we are discussing this, and for us to be able to pump into the government. The rangers have a responsibility. The rangers, they are answerable to the local government chairman. There are rangers that are supposed to be employed by the state, and there are rangers that are supposed to be. This category of personnel have remained undeveloped and have restricted themselves only to arresting people that go to cut trees, which is really not their responsibility. The good aspect of it here is that the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture has come up with this concept of agro rangers.
In which state?
No, in the Federation. The Honorable
Minister.
Yes, the Honorable Minister for Agriculture has come up with the concept of agro rangers. As slow as this process is, we are calling on the government to try and see what they can do. Now, where do you have the instrument? Because security agencies cannot just, work without an instrument. The instrument that has been provided by the government for the curtailment of movement, which is principal, is the Animal Disease Control Act. It has made provision for movement of cattle to be actually reported. That by the time you are moving from one location to the other as a cattle rearer, the state ministry is supposed to be informed. They will give you movement permit before you move from one place to the other. But the unregulated nature of the cattle rearing will continue to create a problem. And that is why we see the wisdom of the Inspector General creating this committee so that we will be able to advise him from time to time on what is going to happen.
So based on what recommendation that have been put down, how fast is this gaining prominence with the Inspector General's office?
Already the committee has been inaugurated. We have started work. We have started visiting most of the security agencies. We have visited the Honorable Minister, and we have compiled a list of what we think as a regulatory body for agriculture in this country, the Honorable Minister can do, and then the Ministry of Agriculture will be able to do that.
Well, Professor Sharabutu, interestingly, some weeks ago, we had, it was on a Friday as well, we had as one of our items for conversation the issue of Nigeria's neglected parks. And then we had here the officer, what I think is a deputy, one of the top guns in the national parks. He was our guest on the program, along with several others who took from some remote location, discussing the inadequacies that they are having. Is your committee in touch with the National Parks Office or National Parks Service?
No, we have not yet met him, but our schedule, we have scheduled a visit to really discuss together with him. If you take for example, what is happening in India, they have been able to actually curtail these activities through what they call the unnoticed heroes. And the unnoticed heroes are the rangers. These are the people that give proper information. Because the police is overwhelmed. That is the truth about it. One, we have observed that the personnel may not be adequate. Two, the movement of police may be a problem. You can imagine the type of work that the success of EFCC today is attributed to the police. The success of ICPC is attributed to the police. The protection of most of our high-ranking officers is the police. The banks is police. The villages, the road, everywhere. Where do they have the capacity to actually keep to this? So there must be synergy between the regulatory agencies for farming, which is the Ministry of Agriculture, then other security agents must be able to collaborate with the police.
Well, Professor, let's still pursue this before we bring in the DIJ, because it is not just farmers and herdsmen clashes. We're having all kinds of, civil disturbances leading to loss of lives. What exactly will your committee be seeking to achieve in suggesting for the proper regulation of cattle rearing? Now, you made mention of the fact that, the Animal Disease Control Act talks about how, you control the movement of animals. But what we find at the state level is that these are usually IGR points, internally generated revenue points, where their interest lies mainly either in collecting taxes or levies and so on and so forth. When you say regulate, do you have a population amongst the cattle rearers who can be amenable to regulation?
You see, the point there is you need to enforce the provision of the law. And if you do not enforce the provision of the law, you cannot be said to be properly regulating activity. Like, for example, now, Nigeria does not have the data on how many cattle rearers we really have. What are the number of farms that we have? And one of our recommendations to the Inspector General of Police is to try and see how we can link up with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture to try and see if we can introduce the issue of licensing cattle rearers. If you license cattle rearers, you will know their location. One. Secondly, we have decided also to begin to advise state governments on establishment of cattle market. These cattle are loaded just anywhere. They are taken anywhere. They are slaughtered anywhere. Now, under normal circumstances, each state of the federation is supposed to establish a cattle market where loading of cattle will be made. You have a loading ramp, you have a cattle market, and then the directive that will be given to all states of the federation is say loading for a certain distance must take place at so point. Then offloading will take place at so point. It is only when you achieve that you will be able to now regulate the movement, because the Animal Disease Control Act has demarcated routes to which every animal that is a threat animal must follow. Similarly, it has given powers to the minister as well as the commissioners in the various states to monitor the movement of these animals within that, whether it is for grazing or for whatever reason.
Okay, well, Prof, thanks a lot. Once again, DIG will still pause you. Let's pursue the fundamental proposed recommendation of the implementation committee by going over to the governor of Benue, who is still with us at our Makurdi Network Center. Mr. Governor, we're sure you're listening to Professor Shaributu talk about this proposal for regulation, proper regulation of cattle rearing. What are your thoughts against the background of what appears to be virtually the experience in all parts of the country, that state ministries of agriculture pays counter attention to agro ranging, are probably more interested in fertilizer distribution and then taxing lumberjacks?
Thank you very much. Let me first of all congratulate Professor Shalabutu and to appreciate him for his thought about this. I think I'm on the same page with him, and to say that I'm happy today. Professor, you have made my day. I'm happy that someone at the federal level and a committee set up by the Inspector General of Police is having a thought of regulating cattle business in Nigeria. I think that is the right way to go. I have advocated that, look, because the problem of cattle and farmers and communities is not just peculiar to Benue State. It's all over the country. Killings have taken place in several parts of the country, even more than what is happening in Benue State. So the way out, I've always said, is to find a way of regulating it. And we have said that ranching remains the best global practice across the globe. What is obtainable is ranching. In America, in Europe, in Asia, and even on African soil. Swaziland is a small country in the southern part of Africa. I was there, and what I saw, their major export earning is beef, but they ranch. In South Africa, I was there some few weeks ago, and they ranch their cattle. Is it in Nigeria that we cannot do it? And I've always said that why can't we borrow ranching from America, since we borrow democracy or presidential system of government from America? Why can't we borrow ranching from America? This is a major problem. And I will continue to say, people who say that we should go back to cattle routes and cattle grazing areas, they are no longer there, even if they were done in the 50s. Today, in the 50s, with the total population of Nigeria was less than 40 million. By 2012 projection, we have over 170 million. By 2017, we should be talking about over 200 million. But the problem is the land has not increased. Rather, it has decreased from the 923,000 square kilometers that we used to have because of the excision of part of Nigeria to Bakassi. So you can see that the upsurge of population have brought increase in human activities. You have more schools, more markets, more settlements, more roads, some even built by federal government and are passing through the cattle routes that were carved in the 50s. So this is a big challenge. We must, as a people, this is a time bomb, and Nigerians must come together. I have been proposing that we need the collaboration of the states and the federal level to come together and find the lasting solution to this problem. To me, I feel that ranching is the only solution that can solve this problem because it's experimented somewhere in the world and it's working. It's only in Nigeria that you see this. I was in South Africa some few weeks ago. I saw cattle ranch. When I came back, as I landed Abuja, the next thing, my convoy was blocked by cattle. You can imagine the headquarters of Nigeria. Cattle have access to go to people's offices, to go to people's houses. In the headquarters, it is not done unless we come up with a solution. I believe that, and I agree also with the professor, that the security apparatus of the state are completely overwhelmed with the situation we have found ourselves in Nigeria today. The criminality that is involved, the terror that is going on, and several things, they are doing their best. Here in Benue State, we don't sleep. My commissioner of police, the commandant army, all of them, and all the military people and the security agencies, they work very hard. I appreciate them. Now, they lack capacity in manpower, they lack capacity in terms of equipment, they lack capacity in terms of financing, and all these things. But we have to contend with. But based on what we have today, I can say that we're on top of our situation because of the extra efforts my security men and myself are putting into this matter.
Very much, Your Excellency. Now, of course, we're glad to feel what DIG Habila Joshak is going to be doing from the federal level. He's in charge of operations, Mr. Habila Joshak. Thank you so much for your patience at listening through the conversation. Now, these issues didn't start today, and for so many, I believe that there should just be this synergy in the security architecture. But would you think there is any form of compromise in the way this one in Benue has been structured, and what is the headquarters doing about that?
Thank you very much. I would say there has been no compromise in the activities that would bring peace in Benue State. Neither would I say that there's no synergy. We collaborate effectively with other security agencies, particularly the military. We share notes, and we conduct operations together. What has happened is that herdsmen, farmers, issues are not issues that have early warning signs, and therefore you cannot proactively deploy to exact locations. So what you do is areas that have been attacked, and when you insinuate and think also that these are likely to be the routes and these are likely to be the next place, you do a deployment that is strategic by locating them in the rural areas. We no longer take them into the cities. If you go to Benue State and you go to Agatu, or you go to Burutu, or if you go to Zaikibiem now, you are likely to see the men not deployed in the city, but deployed at locations where this response to distress call
and
time
being replicated in other parts, because it's not just Benue. Today
yes.
it's Benue, tomorrow it's another place.
Yes,
so
we're in most of the we're in Niger State. We're also in Kaduna, and the deployment are done right in the interior.
Do you have capacity to handle all of the states of the Federation?
Well, you know the number of the of officers that we have. Well, I cannot say that the problems are really lack of manpower. The problems are that some of these crimes do not have early warning signs, and so you deploy widely. I would say that yes, we cannot say for sure that the reason why we've not been able to put a stop to this is because of lack of manpower. Because we're being, I told you that the military have heavily deployed. We have other civil defense, and the SSS of the intelligence are out. But I would rather say that we need also to make sure that we bring these people together by trying to find solution of interactive session between the herdsmen and the farmers. We've had that in Sokoto. Right now, there are no incidences in Sokoto of herdsmen and farmers. We had it very, very regular in Zamfara. Today, they've down tools, and there are a lot of interaction, there are a lot of discussion, and there are a lot of collaboration between farmers and herdsmen. We haven't recorded any. This is what we're trying to do so that we can bring them together so that these fracas will be put to stop.
Well, DIG, two quick points and therefore questions. You talked about the model of community relations that you have deployed to minimize farmers-herdsmen clashes in Zamfara and Sokoto. Farmers in Delta, farmers in Enugu, in Oyo and Ekiti will be wondering when you would probably, or when the police authorities might replicate such models in their own places so as to attenuate the incidence of clashes.
Yes, thank you. We're doing that, but it has to come from the people. It is not a template that is imposed on communities. It is a synergy between such communities and the herdsmen. Don't forget that as soon as cattle are roasted and are slaughtered in a community, no matter how long it takes, the herdsmen are going to come back. And from studies and what has happened, we can say rightly that if one cattle is wrestled and killed, I think within that vicinity or somewhere else around the area, the herdsmen are going to go for the heads of 5 human beings. And so they come back for reprisal. It is not a situation where they face themselves and then they clash. It is coming back for reprisal for an incident that had happened years back or months back or weeks back.
And yet, Deputy Inspector General, you say that there are no early warning signs. Now, the scenario you just painted indicates, cause and effect. I mean, some might say lex talionis. That's the law of revenge. If one cattle is rustled and slaughtered, the owners of the cattle, that's the herdsmen, will mobilize at some point. It might take whatever time. Well, they will strike. But when you say that there are no early warning signs, what does that indicate with regard to interagency cooperation, as well as, of course, your intelligence gathering capacity?
Well, thank you. Yes, we have that on ground. When I said there's no early warning signs, I mean once a cattle is roasted and is slaughtered, the herdsmen don't come to report. And they may not exactly go to where that incident had happened. They will go within another vicinity, far off from where this incident had happened, and they take a piece of flesh from these people. And so you can't say rightly where it's likely to happen. And that is what I meant by early warning signs. You wouldn't know. There are meetings, even when they happen, they come together and they tend to express the fact that they have forgotten. But suddenly you discover that another community within that state has been attacked. And of course, we've had some arrests, and they will confess to you that it's a reprisal, but because they wouldn't locate exactly where it happened, they will go to another community and vent their anger.
Well, DIG, we'll listen to you now, but let's bring in Professor Shaributu into all of this again. From what the DIG is explaining, and indeed from the various media accounts, particularly in recent times, the herdsmen, their communities would appear to be a law unto themselves.
Yeah, precisely. What you are saying there is you can anchor it within the theory of frustration aggression. At one point, people become aggressive when they find out that their source of income and the only thing they have as livelihood is going to be actually wiped out. At the same time, the farmers also look at the future of their children and the availability of land for them. Now, what you have in this scenario there is that we must study the pattern. The pattern of the occurrences of this will be able to give you, how to proactively move. Because our actions has been very, very reactive. Reactive in the sense that this thing happens and then we move in. Now, if we want a situation where we have to be proactive, we now look at the pattern of occurrence. And the pattern is very, very simple. Today is happening in Benue State because Benue State has become a convergence point for all the cattle that are grazing in this area. Because as desertification continues to encroach, as less and less grass and water are made available, they begin to rush to where they have these grasses. And if we study this pattern, the best thing there would have for us to say, look, where are these people actually moving to? Because they move towards a pattern. These Fulani people know where there are diseases, where they can, circumvent and move into these areas. Now, if we study this, I can tell you that this is a very, very simple thing for us to be able to do. We have made a compilation. By next month, we are supposed to submit the details of our own study to Inspector General of Police. In fact, to be candid with you, he has been disturbing us, and I mean, not disturbing, I mean, putting pressure on us to try and see how we can bring some of these things. Because we have studied it, we have looked at the pattern. In fact, even for the banditry and rustling, we have found that it is very easy for you to understand and appreciate which animal is being stolen or which animal is not being stolen. So with the occurrence in the northern part of this country, we have it. And then we also have an advice for those governors that are within the northern state, I mean, within the far northern states. You see, the government has not actually abolished the issue of grazing reserve. These grazing reserves are there. Now, if we want to be very, very proactive, we need to also invest in terms of providing the necessary infrastructure for them to. Number one deficiency we have in the grazing reserve may not just necessarily be the grass. It could be the water. Now, these grazing reserves have no water. They have nothing. And for God's sake, nobody will keep his hard-earned animal in a grazing reserve that don't have it. Now, for those states, those states that still maintain the grazing reserve, to what extent have we gone to actually provide the necessary infrastructure?
That's the sole responsibility
exactly.
of subnational governments.
Of government.
But what have you found in the meantime with regard to trans-border or cross-border herdsmen who are also taking the laws into their own hands?
Yeah, the point there is that, like I said, no regulatory framework. Despite the fact that we have so many international borders and checkpoints for these animals to come in, they come in at their leisure. There are virtually no security agencies that, even the mere fact that you are supposed to collect some tax from them as they are moving, I doubt if the custom has been actually up there with that. Now, cattle do not move without owners. Have we actually been checking the permission? You see, we go by this ECOWAS treaty, but ECOWAS treaty cannot be at the expense of the security of life of our people. Now, we do not have a record of those who are moving in and moving out. I mean, they cannot be ghosts. There are individuals that are coming. But let me also say this. When you talk about the provision of some certain infrastructure to the Fulani people, the argument there is that it is a private business, and so government cannot do it. Now, when a private business is becoming a threat to life, and you have a formula of providing something for you to curtail them in one place, I don't think that it is too much for the government to actually provide some of this infrastructure for them. More so, for example, if you look at the marketers, the traders, government provides the market for them. If you look at, for example, the farmers, government provides seeds for them.
That's right.
They provide water for irrigation for them. So why is it that we have taken this much hatred, for individuals, to the extent that we think that these are individuals and they must be allowed?
Is it hatred or neglect or indifference?
No, there is the element of hatred.
By whom? Against whom?
Just by communities against them. Because, you see, if a Fulani man attacks, for example, the language that is being used there is Fulani herdsmen. We tend to tribalize. We tend to religionize. Most of these things. We do not look at them from the point of view of banditry. And as long as you continue to see them from the point of tribe, you incapacitate the police. You incapacitate the security agencies.
How?
Because once you decide to say this is a Fulani man, this is a Yoruba man, this is a this, you see, you limit their action because they will be seen to be taking side. As long as you do not take it from the point of view of banditry, from the point of view of criminality. And all we hear in the papers from individuals is that these are Fulani herdsmen. So it limits, because among
herdsmen should be herdsmen, wherever they come from.
Bandits should be bandits.
Bandits should be
and then they must be
bandits.
approached from the point of view of banditry.
All right.
Like what the police have done in southern Kaduna, where they move in there and looked at these people as, look, these are criminals, and they move in there and flush them. Yes. But when you say they are Fulani people, the police commissioner who is a Fulani man is incapacitated.
Yeah, but do you have other tribes other than Fulanis who are also headsmen from your findings?
Oh, of course.
Who are these?
Of course, they are in the Hausas. The Hausas are Fulani. You see, let me tell you one.
So the Hausas are also headsmen?
I mean, the Hausas are also headsmen. But let me tell you from one point of view. You will not believe the fact that majority of the people that own these cattle that these Fulani people are having are most of our politicians. They had them for them.
Good. Some of those things we'll take a look at quickly before we'll go. But we have Nigerians joining us via their tweets now. We'll quickly run through them. Gentlemen, His Excellency, as well as the Commissioner of Police in Makodi. Okay, let's start off. Brian Tudu says, almost all the criminal gangs are known. It's the capacity and intelligence failure of the state apparatus that is being tested.
And Festus Akimboyewa, one of our regulars, tweets, failure of government to arrest and punish perpetrators of wanton killings is encouraging more heinous killings in many parts of the country.
And from Muhammad Jamil Sadara, Governor Otom, please do everything humanly possible to arrest the gangsters, bring them to book, and eradicate future occurrences.
This is from Sonny Michael Makoji. Is Ghana, he asks, that is openly leading attacks against innocent people of Benue State invincible, or is he another Shekarau of Boko Haram?
Why
Not
is it?
Shekarau, that's Shekau.
Shekau.
That would be the correct name, yes.
From Dr. T, he said, why is Governor Otom talking as if Ghana is a myth? Is it that security agencies cannot fish him out? Think of vampire in Owerri.
And also recently we had one that was called manslaughter in Rivers.
Okay.
I think he was put to sleep. Now, Festus Sakimboyewa, Nigerian police should be proactive and not reactive. Duty of government is to protect life and property of Nigerians, even if they are on the farm.
From Ibrahim Tudu again, the life of any Nigerian is sacred and is greater than anybody. All of us shall account for the blood of the innocent sooner or later.
Now, this is from Ibn Bature. It says, 7-day ultimatum for the Commissioner of Police, that's in Benue, to arrest Mr. Ghana or submit his resignation letter.
Dele Jack Solomon, distinguished moderators, can you see the trend in wanton killing in Nigeria? From ethnocentric to sectarian to terror.
All right, those are some of the tweets that we're taking in the meantime. Of course, the terms of, it's not just now describing or narrating, the scope and extent of the killings in Nigeria, but with regard to solutions being found, we've had the benefit of Professor Sharabutu's intervention, as well as, of course, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, and then two guests, the Governor, as well as Commissioner of Police in Benue, who are still at our Makodi Network Center. And let's get the thoughts now of the Governor. Mr. Governor, again, you listened to some of the issues itemized by Professor Sharabutu with regard to what is required to be done in terms of shared responsibility between the national and subnational governments. Is this a matter, even whatever scope we decide to take a look at it from, that is beyond, say, the Northern Governors Forum or the Governors Forum or the National Economic Council to pay more keen interest in what the committee is doing now with regard to seeking to, on the one hand, regulate cattle rearing, and then the steps that are needed to be taken with regard to say, look, cattle rearing isn't just a private business. If governments can build stores, for traders, why can't government on its own also ensure that you have infrastructure for ranches?
Thank you very much. Once again, let me commend Professor Garba. Like I said before, he has made my day. I didn't know that I have a partner at the federal level. And to commend the Inspector General of Police for finding Professor Garba to have in-depth study and then come out with recommendations. What I've heard today, I think we're on the right path with people like him. And I will go further to advocate that there should be a retreat to be convened by either the National Economic Council or the federal government so that the state and the federal government can come together and look at the recommendations from Professor Garba. Because with people like him, we have a way forward out of this quagmire that we have gotten ourselves into. It is not just in Benue. Those who are laughing at me today that killings are taking place, it is unfortunate. I won't join issues with them, like the governor of Rivers State, with what I saw yesterday. But today is happening here. tomorrow it will move to somewhere else, because it happened in Kaduna, it happened in Zamfara, it happened in Plateau, it happened in several other states. Today it's happening in Benue State. All that I need reasonable Nigerians to do for me is to pray for me and to try to bring recommendations that can help us, like Professor Gaba is doing. I think that we need the collaboration of the state and the federal level to send away this kind of impunity that is going on in our country. And the other comments that people made, I agree with them. The problem in this country is not any other thing but impunity. How can people go unpunished when they take away lives? Whether farmers or herdsmen, they should be apprehended and sanctioned. That has been my position. As a government that has the fear of God and believes in the rule of law and due process, this is what I've been preaching. I am not against any Fulani man or any herdsman. I'm not against any farmer, but I'm against crime that is committed against humanity over my land. My primary responsibility as governor of Benue State is to provide security for lives and property. This is what I've been saying, but we must do it within the ambit of the law. And I've been having challenges with this. People believe that you can do anything, you should recruit thugs to go and fight. I don't believe that. I didn't win the election through thugs. And so I don't believe in recruiting thugs. I believe in the rule of law and due process. But the security agencies, which are not agencies of state government, are agencies of federal government, must come out in full force and arrest this situation. Impunity must not be allowed to continue. It is only when we begin to arrest and sanction people that people will appreciate this. How can herdsmen be carrying guns when I have already done an amnesty and disarmed my people? All the criminal elements in Benue State, I called for their disarmament, and they brought more than 1,000 rifles, which were recently destroyed by Prescon, which is an agency of federal government, and United Nations. They came here and they were destroyed because I don't want these guns to be in the hands of these youth. We have done this. Why can't we now save our people, provide enough security for them by ensuring that those herdsmen who carry guns and kill my people are apprehended and arrested and sanctioned? One thing I've been saying, why the security are doing their best, I keep asking, where are those herdsmen that kill people with guns? Where are they? Is it that they are above the law? Is it that they cannot be apprehended and sanctioned? This is what I keep asking. So this is not fair. And it's not just happening in Benue State, it's happening elsewhere too. Back to DIG. I commend what you have said. But let me tell you that the Bible says you shall know the truth and the truth will set you free. It is better for you to come out clearly and tell Nigerians, let's tell the President, Federal Executive Council, and National Economic Council, that you lack capacity. That is the truth. I was in Federal Executive Council recently, and the National Security Advisor made a presentation which indicted the Nigerian police. The problem is that we try to hide some of these things. We must come out and tell Nigerians, tell the President the truth. Mr. President is concerned about this matter. He is willing to do something. Recently, he approved the recruitment of 10,000 policemen. I think that exercise should continue. This year, too, another 10,000 should be recruited. Next year, it should be recruited until we're able to have enough capacity. When it comes to facilities and equipment, the police don't have the equipment. I am here with the Commissioner of Police. He may not be willing to come out to say it, but I am governor, popularly elected, and I must say something that concerns the security of my people. This is not fair. You people should put up a position to the Federal Executive Council to finance the police, to finance the security agencies in this country, so that they can provide security. The primary responsibility of government, as I said, is to provide security for lives and property. We need to do that. Now they are managing. The capacity is not there in terms of funding, in terms of capacity, in terms of equipment. I have not seen it in the security that we have there. We need to do something more. This shouldn't be an indictment, but it's a way of encouraging the federal government to come out and support our security agencies if Mr. President's directive is to be complied and implemented. That is the only way we can have this problem over. If I tell you about how many people I have in my own local government as policemen, it's laughable. And all over the place, because the manpower is not there. So these are the problems. And we must be willing to say the truth at all times so that we'll be free from some of these things that are happening. I want to say...
Okay, well, Mr. Governor, well, thanks a lot. In addition to what you just said, the Inspector General of Police himself has not hidden the fact that the police force is grossly underfunded, and if he's spoken about that at various public fora, indicating what is required to be done. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time again because we have a second topic to discuss. But if we could get the Commissioner of Police, there was a tweet there saying that, look, why don't you get on the heels of Ghana and then bring him, to justice within 7 days? Otherwise, you'll say bye-bye.
Well, that's the issue of getting Ghana. Of course, is in progress. We have put in all efforts. The police alone cannot do it. It becomes a community issue. If one person will continue to take the life of so many people and then yet is being shielded by his own community where he lives, where he knows better, and then he can go into hiding in so many other places. We are putting a lot of dragnets. The state executive governor has given us a lot of support and encouragement to come out to look for Ghana, to the extent of putting a ransom or a reward on him. We are expecting that within this short period, I tell you, Ghana will come out, and if not, just like that guy has treated, I will take an option.
All right, Commissioner of Police for Benue State, Bashir Makama, would like to thank you for being with us on the program today. And our special appreciation also to the Executive Governor of Benue State, His Excellency, Mr. Samuel Otom. Thank you very much for your passion and for your insights, and we hope that all gets well once again with Benue. All right, now then back to us here in the Abuja studios. Our special appreciation also to the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations. That's Habila Joshak. DIG, thank you for being with us. As well as Professor Garba Sharabutu, who is the Chairman Implementation Committee on Curtailment of Rustling and Farmers and Herdsmen classes. We'd like to thank you for the fresh perspectives that you brought onto this matter, and we do hope that there will be further elaboration on this so that we get to the root of it all. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, so that does it for our first conversation on Good Morning Nigeria. Now, we're moving on to the second one, where there is life, of course. Almost invariably, there will also be death at some point. And in the course of life, there's laughter or otherwise. Globalcom, that's one of Africa's largest telecommunications company, of course, continues to expand and has a number of programs with either laughter or promoting music as part of its corporate social responsibility. Now, just before we take on that subject with our guests joining us from our Lagos Network studios, let's have a short break.
Money is sweet, but how sweet it is depends on a few variables like how ready you are to handle the many troubles and goodies money brings your way.
The whole of Enugu will know that show my son has arrived.
But most of all, the sweetness of money depends on if it brings you peace or not.
Not be the same Lagos where your sister Pikin there. Where you there?
I'd like to know your name and have your phone number if you don't mind.
Oh, my name is Jumoke. My number is 08053.
Not you. Talking to Beautiful right here.
My Pikin Don Hammer. Another milestone episode in your rib-cracking comedy. Professor John Bull.
Be a bird for me. Fly to Mali with like a kilo, what you would call like 2.2 pounds of powder.
And showing at 8:30 p.m. every Tuesday and Friday on NTA Network International and Star Times.
Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow.
Welcome to the new speed of life.
Hello, dear. You've got the first signs of a sore throat.
Yes, and I'm afraid it could be signs of a sore throat.
Don't you worry. Just act immediately, but not with non-medicated throat sweets. Take an expert product. Take Strepsils. Look at what it does to sore throat germs compared to a throat sweet. Strepsils not only stops the germs from multiplying, it even kills them.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, sore throat. Stop a sore throat early. Take Strepsils.
When I was admitted into this school, the school building, it was horrible.
The biology lab was not equipped. Students learn under the trees.
The classroom, some students do sit on the floor, but now
We can proudly boast of an equipped laboratory.
We now have good buildings in our school.
Everyone is properly accommodated, both the teachers and the students, and we are very happy about it.
This is the new Imo State, where education is free. The Imo Rescue Mission. Imo must be better.
Okay, sir. You may now go in for your interview.
Thank you.
Ah, my shoe. And to think I just bought this very expensive foreign shoe 2 months ago.
So sorry about your shoes. This is why I advise my friends to always patronize made in Nigeria products. See this shoe. It's made in Nigeria and I've had it for 2 years and it's still as good as the day I bought it.
Made in Nigeria products are good quality, and stringent government regulations and certification now mean the goods made in Nigeria meet international standards. Make the patriotic choice today. Buy right. Buy Made in Nigeria.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Thank you for joining us still on the program. Yes, before we went on that break, Kingsley started talking about what laughter people will get to find when they join this Glow Laughter Festival. Well, Globacom is organizing 2 major events in the country. They are Glow Laughter Festival and Glow Mega Music Tour. Joining us in our Lagos studio to discuss this event is Odafa Akeridola. He's a Glow staff. Thank you very much, Mr. Akeridola, for joining us again this morning.
Thank you very much for having us.
Another Glow staff who is also there to shed more light on the issue is Mansour Okpakunle. Thank you, Mr. Okpakunle, for coming on the program as well.
And the Glow Laughter Fest. It's a series of...
Well, I'll get to find out what it's going to be about. Let's welcome all the guests with you there, the 2 Glow ambassadors, Bovi as well as Olamide. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Okay, now you find out. This event, it's been running for years now. I think this should be this show actually debuted in 2009. What do we make of the intrigues and the zests that has kept it going, Mr. Odafa Pakule?
Okay, for us, it's a way of mostly giving back to Nigerians, showing love to our teaming customers and bonding with them. The music festival is also a way of enriching the Nigerian entertainment scene. As you know, Globacom is a pioneer in using Nigerian artists as brand ambassadors. So beyond using them to endorse our products, we also showcase their talents in events like this. So the music tour and the Laughter Fest will bring artists like Bovi here with me and Olamide and a host of others on events every weekend, starting from April the 8th up till October the 8th.
Meet your ambassadors there, as Bovi as well as Olamide. Yes, laughter on one side, music on the other side. What's in for laughter with Bovi and your other acts? Who are the other acts coming with you?
There's a pool of artists from Basketball to I Go Die, Gordons, Shaylaw, Salvador from Uganda, you know. For us, we can't wait to get started because this is something we have done over the years, and it gives us that opportunity to meet with the fans who are deep down areas where people normally don't go to do shows, you know. So we just can't wait to meet with them the way they can't wait to meet with us as well. And it promises to be a good one. It's looking good already.
Participating in these over the different series. Now, any opportunity for new acts to come on and at least introduce themselves to the public as well?
Absolutely. If there's anything that the Glow Laughter Fest especially has done, is to give that platform to young and relatively unknown artists. The beautiful thing about comedy is if you are good, you will get a platform. It's about the joke. It's not necessarily about the personality, you know. So if you can take the audience along, you can rock them, then why not? And for every city that we'll be going to, indigenous comedians will also have a chance to showcase their talents. Like I said, one of the people performing is Salvador from all the way Uganda. It's because Salvador's jokes always cut across and he gets people really laughing. The same can be said of every other Nigerian comedian that you don't know now that will be on the bill, but after the show, you will never forget them again.
We won't forget that Olamide Bado is right there with you. Now, we know that the touch to this is in the flavor that is cutting across the continent. Now you're bringing Salvador from Uganda. Now, what new flavor are we going to be getting on the musical side, Olamide?
The musical side, for me, is actually my first particular tour with the Glow, and I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to kick off with them, and I can't wait to travel all across Nigeria to meet different people, different, you know, kind of audience entirely that's been showing me love, supporting me, buying my CDs, buying online and all that over the years, and I haven't met these people before, you know. So for me, it's like a very big platform for me, and I'm looking forward to the experience. I can't wait to see what it's going to be like, knowing fully well that my brothers are on it already, the likes of Fino, Flavor, you know. I'm happy. So it feels like I'm home with my team and we are going to play a football match, you know, so I can't wait.
Let's have a sneak peek of what to expect. Yes, Nigerians are watching you now wherever they are located, even outside the shores. Just give us the flavor that Olamide is noted for, just in that line.
Oh, serious level. Okay. Ẹ̀yin fojú owó, ẹ̀yin mẹ́nugun, apọ́nbẹ́pọ̀ rẹ̀ mi, àkànkẹ́ igi lẹ́yìn ọgbà mi, nígbà kò sówó, nígbà kò sọ́lá, nígbà kò sọ̀rọ̀ táyé rò mí pín, you stood by me. I know I've made some mistakes, now I don't regret. Now I know go forget to cherish waiting I get. Right now I get Glow endorsements. Yeah. Just kidding.
Olamide, you mentioned a moment ago that you're going to have other very well-known artists. Some guy called Fino. I mean, you guys had they call it collabo, collabo or something, father or so? Right. Okay, so I'm sure that the fans out there will be quite enthusiastic, you know, in receiving you in different parts of the country where the show is taking place. And that's why my question is going to Mansour Bakunle. There's an expansion in terms of the coverage areas for the Laughter Festival as well as the Mega Music Tour. What has informed this enlargement of the scope?
Yeah, thank you. Globacom, as we all know, the biggest indigenous telecom company in Africa. We intend to ensure that we touch every part of Nigeria. We want to give the best laughter and music to all our subscribers all over the country. Convenience. We want a situation where everybody, wherever you are, you enjoy what we are bringing to the table. And we don't want to move people from one state to another. So wherever you are, wherever location you are, all over Nigeria, we intend to bring this to the community. And by bringing it to the community, we will ensure that everybody everywhere enjoy the flavor of Globacom, whether by laughing or by enjoying the music as given by Olamide, Fino, and Flavor. It's really going to be very, very, very interesting.
What about issue of security? Yes, I know you're trying to contain the crowd as well as at least limit people in their different locations wherever this tour is going to be. What have you put in place in terms of security? Because we know so many issues of insecurity right now around the nation. So what is GLOW doing about that to actually preserve lives and property as this festival take on?
Yeah, we are very organized in Globacom, and that is why we have said for every center, everywhere, we are going to have the whole thing regulated. We are in touch with the Nigerian police, with FRSC, and all regulatory agencies to ensure that all centers are well protected. The people that will be attending all the events, we know the size and the number of people that will be in a particular location. And all this we already put in place. We've done our project management organization very well. And with the support of the regulatory agencies, everybody that come around will see organization in place. As you come in, you are already identified, you are already mapped. And when you go in a very organized manner, because we are keeping strictly to the size of every location. And with the police and with the FRSC, with LASTMA, and all other organizations that will make the whole event run in a very smooth way. We've contacted, we've organized ourselves, we are ready for this event, and the event will be like never before.
Odafe Akeridola, let's now get to the meat matter. Is this event just for GLOW subscribers or your customers? And then how is one qualified to actually attend any of these shows?
Well, the show is for Nigerians. We do not discriminate. We believe anybody can get a GLOW SIM. It's as simple as walking into any SIM card retailer and buy a GLOW SIM for 100 naira, register it, and you're on the GLOW network. It is for everybody living in Nigeria. That's why the show cuts across all the geopolitical zones of the country. So anybody on GLOW or anybody with a GLOW SIM that wants to attend any of these events just needs to send an SMS to a short code. For the Laughter Fest, you send LOL space the location to 240. And then for the music festival, you send music space the location to 207. Once you send this short code, from that moment you begin to monitor your line. We just expect you to use 3,000 naira on the network before the date of the show in your location. Typically speaking, I think for most people it's just as simple as buying a data plan. Once you buy a 3,000 naira data plan, for example, you are qualified for an invite to the show in your location. And like Mansour have said, we have done everything to ensure that we take the shows to the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. It's not the usual Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt events where only the big cities benefit. Right now, we're having cities like Anigba, cities like Epoma, places like Kuba, places like Suleja. These people are also Nigerians. They are GLOW subscribers, and they've never seen people like Olamide and Pupi before. Now, GLOW is bringing these superstars to them. So once you are in Nigeria, even if today, for example, you are in Lagos, and you know that, in some time to come, you'll be in Benin City, you look at the dates, of the timetable we've shared, and then, text the short code LOL Benin or Music Benin to the short code, and then qualify. Once the date gets there, you get your invite and you attend the show in Benin City. We are not saying you must do it in Lagos or Port Harcourt. Depends on where you are and where you want to be. So back to your question, is for every Nigerian, or everybody living in Nigeria who is on the GLOW network.
Yeah, Odafe, of course, to add to that, what you just said now is that first you have to be on the Glow network, and then you have to have a minimum of 3,000 naira subscription, which can be by way of a data plan. Is the Laughter Festival taking place simultaneously with the music mega show?
Okay, just to correct your, it is not a subscription, it is usage. But I was just saying that the simplest way for many people to comprehend this is buying a data plan. But if you can use 3,000 naira to talk, you are still qualified. The important thing is you must use 3,000 naira on the Glow network. Whether you buy a data plan, whether you talk, whether you SMS, so long as your usage totals 3,000. So we know for most people, the easiest way to calculate it is just to buy a data plan. Most people will not be able to say, I have called 10 minutes, I have called 5 minutes, I called 1 hour, everything out of the 3,000. The easiest way to know it is to buy, but if you can be sure that you recharge 3,000 or, 1,000 today, 500 tomorrow, and you use it, in that period, you qualify. Now, the shows will take place simultaneously in different cities, not in the same city. For example, if we do Laughter Fest in Lagos on a Saturday, on a Sunday, we will do music festival in Benin. It won't be Lagos, the same weekend. No, we will spread it so that, we also give fans time to get themselves together, and also the performing artists. So it won't be simultaneous in the same city on the same weekend. No, we have, if you look at a timetable, we've done it in a way that, Laughter Fest is happening in one place, music is happening elsewhere. But, every weekend there is something in a location near you, starting from April 8th.
I was wondering, still with you, Odafe. Now, this is, these are two mega events that you are proposing for, some months to come. How much local content are we going to expect, quite aside from the acts, as Blessing said, the startup comedians and the musicians? It will require a great deal of arrangement in terms of your sound system, your lighting, and your engineers. Are these Nigerians, or you are shipping money out to engage foreigners for these activities?
Glow is wholly locally owned, and most of what we do is locally sourced. Except for a few telecom equipment that we need to import. Most of what we do, we look in locally. Most of our vendors, most of our suppliers are local people. So when we are doing events like this, we also try to ensure that we have local content. That is why you find that, like you've said, on the list of artists coming here, most of them are local. So we are 100% Nigerian. We try to keep most of what we do also within Nigeria.
Back to, let's bring in Bovi again. I know profit on one hand for the organizers, Glow, profit in your own pockets for those of us who will be subscribing to through whatever means, whether for data or buying airtime to actually do our calls. Now, what has this Glow Laughter Festival, what has it done in the life of the people, the culture, as well as other values that we could find in terms of entertainment? What has it done in the last how many years of its running?
Basically, if you roll back the years to from 10 years till now, you will find out that entertainment has come to play a very major role. Apart from the fact that it has created jobs, it is pretty much a lifestyle now. So, and that's because of the internet. There are Instagram comedians now, there are Twitter comedians, there are Instagram actors and musicians, exactly, So it is, like I said, it's a lifestyle thing now. It's something that cannot be done without, and that's why what Glow is doing is highly commendable, because, like I said earlier on, it is bridging a gap. We know our fans because they follow us on social media. They know us because they watch us on social media. Now, this is a rare opportunity to meet them face to face. Many of them we even talk to on social media that we don't really get to see. This kind of events afford us the opportunity to meet with them. And like I said, create more jobs, because many people are just looking for an outlet to express themselves and kick off their talents. That's what this affords us.
Originality is what keeps most of you running, but we've seen a trend with some repeated jokes and some other, just just some of the run-of-the-mills actuality that we get to see. What is new and what stands a comedian out to actually do that can actually make me laugh?
When you look at the cast for this show, for this tour, you will know that these are comedians who know their onions, yeah? What Go has done is separate the wheat from the chaff, right? The comedians here are comedians who give you reality jokes and give you up-to-date information. Comedy over time has evolved. It's no longer how you see lion hawking pure water in the streets of Ibadan, yeah? We handle issues, real issues. And if there's anything that makes comedy really stand out, is the fact that we can tell people the things people are actually scared to say. We bring them out. We satirize the society, you know? So you will have fun. I've been on this show, I've been on this tour for the past 2-3 years. If I was repeating myself, I wouldn't be here. Same goes for every other comedian in the game. If they were repeating themselves, you wouldn't see them on the tour. So yeah, trust me when I say we have an all-star cast that can hold it anywhere in the world.
Because I know you're one of such who do on the spur of a moment kind of joke. Now, you got into that studio, you're relating with us in Abuja. Give me something that I think should make one Nigerian who's watching say, these people, what are they doing? What are they up to? Now, let's have a feel of what we should expect moving around.
I'm going to try to keep it PG, yeah? Okay, when we came in the studio, I was telling them, you know, because I served in NTA Local Jar. This is not a joke, this is actually reality. I served in NTA Local Jar in 2002, and so I was telling them, watching you guys in the studio, that the truth is many of these presenters you see, especially the guys, sometimes they don't have their shoes on. And in extreme cases, they don't have their trousers on. So I'm not talking about you, madam, but Oga, you in the studio, just to prove that you're actually wearing trousers behind that seat or desk in front of you. Can you just stand up and show us that you're wearing your trousers?
Good shot. You see, I have my shoes on. I have my
the camera can actually
if
come on.
If the cameraman is listening to what I'm saying, he can give you a right shot.
Even up to his shoe, I can see his shoe.
That's right.
Yeah.
If the cameraman is watching, I don't think he's responding to this. He probably just...
Well, cameraman Dako is actually enjoying your joke that he's forgetting that he has to... Can we have it? Yes, that's it.
You see my shoes there? Sorry, Bovi. Maybe you want me to do a tap dance with the shoes. Is that what you want me to do? Tap dance, you know, so that you know exactly that I'm wearing shoes?
Made in Nigeria products, then yes, you can.
Anyway, maybe if we get to let you do some tap dance, I'm going to invite Olamide to do one of my favorites. You'll be surprised. Well, some of us get to find time to listen to some of the lyrics out there, whether in the cars or wherever. Shakiti Bobo is one thing I know. Whatever that means, I don't know. But somehow, I enjoy the lyrics. So, will you be kind enough to do Shakiti Bobo for me and for Nigerians this morning?
Oh, Bobo, we the low bad day to get this money today, but every night and day. Oh, Bobo, we the low bad day, $0 in the no get a molaye. Oh, ya Shakiti Bobo, Bobo, over a Bentley Bobo, Bobo, over a Ferrari Bobo, Bobo, fly you to Paris Bobo, Bobo, oh, ya Shakiti Bobo, over a Bentley Bobo, over a Ferrari Bobo, fly you to Paris Bobo.
Very much. I mean, you're making me look like a father figure. I'm not the one you sang about in that collabo with Fino. Yes, Father. To be honest with you, I mean, I love that song. I try to pick out the lyrics sometimes and then enjoy myself. Father, hit song, man. So congratulations. By the way, just before the curtains fall on this, to the Glow staff over there with you, Odafe, as well as Okpakunle, is there any age restriction on this? Sorry, I mean, some of us are young guys, but, you know, some of us have seen Papa Rufus Thomas. You know him? The youngest teenager alive, the oldest teenager alive in 1974. All right, so any age restriction?
There's no age restriction. It's for everybody, all Nigerians. Glow normally is known for youths, but I can tell you that even the adults, you come around, we respect everybody, we give value to our subscribers. And when you come around, you are going to really have fun like never before. It's going to really take off the pressure and the assumed depression in the society now. And you are going to really detoxify the system by coming. And for you in particular, you can come and do Father with us, and you are really going to enjoy yourself.
Well, that's Mansour Kwakunle would like to thank you. I'm sure if Ben Bruce is watching this, he will recall that we had Shalamar at the National Arts Theatre in those days. We also had, it was Millie Jackson. It was, sorry, gentlemen, I mean, we're all young guys, as I indicate here, but, we look forward to all of that. James Brown, if you remember him, the godfather of soul. He had also had a tour of this country. That was during the Civil War years. Yeah. So we'd like to thank you, gentlemen, again, who joined us from our Lagos Network Center, Odafa Keredolu, and Mansour Kwakunle, both of you staff of Glow. And then Bovi, stand-up act, and Olamide, father figure guy, and then they collaborate with Fino. Gentlemen, have a nice weekend, and then let your show roll.
No, they're waiting for you. All right, let's join the Nigerian Meteorological Agency for the weather outlook for the rest of today.
From the National Weather Center of Nigerian Meteorological Agency, I'm Suleiman Gurin. With increase in cloudiness, air temperature and moisture over most part of the country, we expect more discomfort on Friday due to heat. Partly cloudy to cloudy conditions over most part of the country. The northeast will experience sunny and hazy. Later in the afternoon into the evening hours, we expect thundery activities over Mambila, Ibi, and Makodi, and thunderstorms over some places in the southern cities. And for temperature forecast across some selected cities, please do stand by.
And that's Good Morning Nigeria for today and indeed the week. We hope you have a great weekend. But before then, do have yourself a wonderful day, and I wish you well. My name is Blessing Abu.
And I'm Kingsley Osadolo. I join Blessing and appreciating you being with us today. But remember that wherever the rest of the day takes you, it begins with us when we say Good Morning Nigeria. The program returns same time, 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday. Enjoy your weekend.